The documentation around the transport plan, you've got 10 documents in the current transport plan that, as Clive pointed out earlier, is 8 years old, was created in 2017 when Chris Rogers was elected and Paul Harrison were elected, and yet we've had 8 years of nothing. And you're right, a bridge is needed. I personally am not convinced that the problems will be solved entirely by the proposal that has been put forward by the Civic Society. I'm sorry to say that to you, but I'll be honest. I'm not in agreement that a roundabout at the bottom of Harold Davis Drive will completely resolve the issue. I think you'd be moving it from one side to another. But I also think that looking at long-term active travel plans, they're in the transport plan, but they've not been enacted. We need a proper solution to Stourport's traffic issues. Bridge, yeah, Stourport needs a second bridge. Worcestershire needs a second bridge outside of Stourport. You know, if Holtfleet goes down and Bewdley Bridge go down, everything comes through Stourport, and we have not got a road infrastructure that is capable of handling that. I think there's other matters that we can look at in terms of, I know we were at a conservation meeting the other week, and I mentioned there about a heavy goods vehicle ban, particularly through the 𝐿𝐿. The air quality there is terrible. I'm aware that Phillips managed to get some air quality testing a little bit further round on Mitten Street, at the junction of Severn Road. But I think we also need to look at that partly as a pollution issue, but also as a quality of life issue. The biggest kind of problem I have with the Civic Society proposal is it's a good proposal. I'm glad that somebody's actually put a proposal forward, so I'm not dissing it completely. But I think for it to be truly effective, it needs the western and northern sections put in possibly before the southern section, because otherwise you're moving traffic from the Walsh's side of the bridge, the Isle of King side of the bridge, just onto the Worcester Road. And I don't think, as was commented earlier, most of the traffic I think is going out through towards Kidderminster and beyond. I don't think it's necessarily coming onto the Worcester Road. There are other things we can do. We've talked before, and I'm sure Tim will jump in with one of his proposals, but I've suggested moving traffic around the Worcester Road Island and making that safer for pedestrians and mobility scooter users, but also looking at maybe reducing the flow of traffic by reversing the flow of traffic on Lombard Street, sending it out through Bridge Street, Bewdley, onto the Bewdley Road, and taking it off Vale Road, and then making it a little bit easier for traffic to get round. So there are things, but they need to be properly put together, and we need a proper plan. As I said earlier, we don't have a plan for Stourport. They've had 8 years, and nothing's happened.